Hey guys, Will here, and I'm back with another battle report. Tonight, Sam's Orks, featuring his new converted Gorka Knight, yes you heard me right, Gorka Knight, are taking on my Salamander Space Marines with my Imperial Knight in support. We've rolled up mission 5, which I believe is Cloak and Shadow, so we're going end-to-end deployment, and 3 objectives each, but keeping your objectives secret from your opponent. So that should be good fun. Let's go straight on to the armies. So we're playing 1750 tonight, and I've decided to mod my Space Marines up a bit and go for a Gladius Strike Force. So there's my leader. I've got Vulcan Hastan, and then he's going to have 3 tactical squads with him. First one is 10 guys with a flamer and a heavy bolter, a combi flamer on the sergeant there, and they're riding in a rhino. Second squad is just 8 guys, again with a flamer and a combi flamer on the sergeant, no heavy weapon this time, and they're in a second rhino. Then I've got 10 dudes, combi melter on the sergeant, melter gun and multi-melter in the squad, and they're riding in a drop pod. Then for my assault choice, I've got a pair of land speeders, multi-melters and heavy flamers on there, looking to make the most of Vulcan special rules and Salamander chapter tactics. And then Devastator squad, 5 guys with missile launchers and a sergeant. Then for my auxiliary choice, I've got an armoured task force, 3 predators. Each of these are a single unit, and they've got heavy bolters, autocannons, and storm bolters. And they've got a tech marine with them as compulsory for the formation. And then I've got my Imperial Knight, Sir Frederick. Only the second time I've had a game with him on the channel, so looking forward to seeing what he can do today. And here we've got Sam's Orks of the Deathskull clan. Leading the force here, we've got his big mech, looks like a custom force field on there. Any other upgrades on him?
Custom force field, boss pole, git finder. I think that's it.
And as you can see, he's in mega armor, which comes with the claw and the
custom mega blaster.
That's it. And he's got 5 mega knobs with him.
Those are just standard mega knobs, and they're in their battle wagon.
Yeah.
Battle wagon has kill cannon, reinforced ram, extra armor, and boarding planks.
Okay, so a nice little lot on there. Then we've got some rather shooty stuff down here.
Yep, this is 10 tank busters, all stock, in a truck, which is stock, and then 5 custom mega cannons.
Ooh.
Which are my favourites.
I've faced them before, they're nasty. Then we've got the boys.
Yep, core, I've got 3 units of 10. Either side we've got 9 shooters and a big shooter, novel power claw. And in the middle there's no big shooter.
Okay.
And all the trucks are stock.
Then 2 mobs of bikes.
Yep, just 5 bikes each and novel boss pole. Oh, all the boys have boss poles as well.
Excellent. And then what is this bad boy up here?
This is my Gorkanaut.
Or Gorka Knight, as I like to call him. Pretty impressive model you got there. So that's a stock Gorkanaut.
Yep, just a standard Gorkanaut, no upgrades on him.
Built from an Imperial Knight and Gorkanaut components.
Yeah.
Looking very nice, looking very nice. Okay, so that's 1750 points of Orks. Really liking the conversions on this. Incidentally, if you want to see more about these conversions, I'll put a link into the conversion corner I did on Sam's Ork Army in the description. But anyway, let's get on to deployment. I believe the Orks are deploying first. So with end-to-end deployment, things are a little squashed here, but the Orks have essentially deployed all their transports pretty far forward, with the bikes into space between, Gorka Knight right down the centre, and the custom mega cannons to the rear. The big hard hitter is the battle wagon over there, with the mech boy in it and his knobs. And yeah, everything starts on the board, nothing in reserves. That truck there is the one with the tank busters in it. And then over here we've got the Salamanders. Predators, although they're not a squadron, they're 3 separate units, have all deployed together on this flank with the tech marine behind them. Rhino with the 1st tactical squad, they've split into 2 combat squads there. Devastators back here holding the objective. Rhino there with Vulcan and the smaller tactical squad, with the land speeders taking shelter behind, and Sir Frederick leading the charge. In reserves, got my drop pod with this tactical squad, which will also be combat squadding. At the moment, Orks have the first turn, but let's see if we can steal this. It's a 6. Salamanders steal the initiative. On to turn 1. So, Salamanders stole the initiative, and we start first up with my drop pod slamming down exactly where I wanted it. Guys with the melter weapons get out and wreck the battle wagon straight off the bat. Sam's not happy about that.
I'm glad we're not.
But unfortunately that's what Salamanders do when they seize the initiative. And yeah, so that's the battle wagon dealt with. Other half of the squad got out over here and shot for the cannons and did nothing. Movement was pretty much limited. This squad got out into the ruins, left the other half of the squad in there, and the Knight, Land Speeders and Rhino all moved up to get into position to engage next turn. Shooting, Predators, all 3 of them fired at this single Ork truck and did a total of 2 hull points. Unfortunately, night fighting and the ruins kept him pretty darn safe. Then Devastators fired at that truck there, didn't wreck it. That was eventually wrecked by the Imperial Knight's battle cannon. The Knight then tried to finish off this truck with his heavy stubbers and still didn't do the job. So after a pretty explosive start, the turn kind of petered out into into stunning a truck and wrecking another one. So all in all, only scored 2 points that turn. We had no prisoners, obviously the other 2 were secret, and I also got first blood. But the Orks are now mad, so let's see what they can do in Ork turn 1. So the relentless metallic war surges forward into the Space Marine lines. This truck shot down the flank, trying to close with the Predators quickly. Tank Busters got out of their immobilised truck and snuck off over here, tried to fire off some shots at the tactical squad in the building, but we'll come back to that in a minute. Bikes moved up into the woods and past all their dangerous terrains, and the Warboss and the Gorkanaut realised they just need to start getting closer. Bike squad swung round to take on the contents of the drop pod. Now there's a lot of shooting from a lot of different squads, but basically what it amounted to was 1 death from that tactical squad, that combat squad with the melters getting completely wiped out by the bikes and the Warboss. In the centre, the cannons fired on the Rhino and wrecked it, leaving the squad inside pinned and then vulnerable to firepower from these boys, this truck, the Tank Busters, the bikes and the Gorkanaut, which of those 2 combat squads reduced 1 down to a single guy and the other one down to just 3 guys. Both did manage to hold there, although the birdie half of the squad with the flamers is very much now pinned. So the Orks have taken a chunk out the centre of the marine lines, but my strongest assets are still intact, although my Alpha Strike has been curtailed for now. Anyway, objective-wise, all that Sam was able to score was objective 6. His other 2 objectives were both discarded thanks to his Warlock trait. Number 4 and number 5, which is in that building, both well within Space Marine territory, so he made the wise call to get rid of them. Orks are getting somewhat scarily close to my lines now. I do not want Mega Knobs and Gorkanauts crashing my lines, so let's see what the Space Marines can do as we head into turn 2. Okay, Space Marine turn 2. Now I tell you now I had supremacy, so I needed to score at least 4 objectives because the Orks had 2 they were pretty solidly claiming. So this Predator moved up, claimed this one, immobilised itself in the process, but I'm not worried, the Tech Marine can fix him next turn. These guys were pinned, so not going anywhere. This guy scurried up into the building to sit on objective 1. Devastators already had objective 4, fired at the bikes, and despite being Devastators, only managed to kill a single bike, so that was less than ideal, and they're sticking around. And Vulcan's Rhino backed up behind there, and Land Speeder hopped into the building to claim objective 5. So that's my 4 objectives. Land Speeder's then fired on the Warboss's mob, put 1 kill on there, and then the Knight charged in and put a couple of wounds on. Didn't have good luck with the D rolls, but put a couple of wounds in there and took 2 whole points back. Just about won the combat, but Stomp didn't do anything, and these guys have held the ground, which is slightly worrying with what else is looming down on that position. Over here, these bikes lost 2 from the fire of the Knight, and this tactical squad ran through that building, moved very slowly in the move, there's got 2 on the move through cover, but then got off an 8-inch charge into the cannons and with assault doctrine called cut down the puny little grots and sent them scurrying off the board. So, what else? Down here, this truck got wrecked by fire from the first predator, and the second two predators killed most of the guys inside, but they passed the leadership test, and of note, the power claw is still alive. Objectives-wise, got psychological warfare for the grots running off, secure objective 1 in the building, and supremacy, which I then only rolled a 1 for, so although it's good, it's not great, but that's put some points on the board now. Let's see what the Orks are going to do about this. So, at the start of Sam's turn, he really wanted to deal with that knight right bang smack in the middle of his line. So the Gorkanor, the bikes, both squads of them, and the Warboss that was already there, all ganged up on, sorry, not Warboss, Meganob and Big Mech, all ganged up on the knight. And as you can see, the knight is gone. Basically, the Gorkanor put 1 wound on him from Hammer of Wrath, and then the knight proceeded to turn around and bitch slap the Gorkanor. Got a 6 on the D table with his weapon and sent the Gorkanor flying. However, the bikes and the knobs weren't having any of it, and between them managed to pull down the knight, that then flipped over and managed to kill a couple of boys and a knob. So, big nasty fight there, ended with both the big bad vehicles going down. But how much of effect is this going to have on the game? Other than that, these boys charged into the land speeders and wiped them out. I honestly thought they were safe enough back there. I hadn't betted on truck boys, yeah, so that's my land speeders out of the way, and my knight. But yeah, other than that, these guys charged into this predator and put a couple of hull points on it and left it stunned. And the tank busters fired at the middle predator and wrecked it. Real shame that I didn't get the big mech to it last turn in the movement phase, because he had to run to get there. He couldn't fix it till next turn, by then it was too late. Tank busters put 2 hull points on it and it's gone. And then over here, these boys charged into the marines that were holding out the back of the woods there and wiped them out for no casualties in return. So yeah, got Orks swarming overboard. He scored secure objective 2 this turn, and then discarded 2 objectives that he didn't feel he was going to be able to complete. So we're both clear on objectives now. Both lost our biggest, baddest monsters, and yeah, it's going to be a tough scrap for the win. On to Space Marine, turn 3. So the rapidly depleting Salamanders force looks to strike back on turn 3. Over here, this Rhino swings around the corner, and Vulcan and the Tactical Squad's Flamer Dude barbecue these Orks and send them running. Meanwhile, the Heavy Bolter Dude and this Predator fired at the Tank Busters, which was just about enough to send them running, although really should have done a lot more damage than they did, but at least they're legging it. This drop pod fired at them, no, 1 dead, past the lead, or didn't even need a leadership for them. Devastators. I was really disappointed with these guys. Fired at the bikes, only scored 1 hit, which was then saved. So what-de-frickin' do? Those bikes are a right pain in the bum, and I've still got Mega Knobs at large. I've not even been able to get anything to threaten yet. And then down here, this Predator shot at 2 of the Orks that were in combat with it, snapshots, but killed 1 of them. Then the Tech Marine came round, shot 1 of them and charged the Knob. Both hit at initiative 1 with really hard weapons. Tech Marine has a power axe and servo arm, Knob had a power claw, and both are dead. That scored me my 1 objective for the turn, which was Assassinate. I then discarded secure objective 2, and that's the one I've got left. I'm not showing Sam because we're playing hidden objectives. But yeah, with only 2 Predators, Devastator Squad, minimal tactical marines and Vulcan left, it's going to be a tough fight. But let's see what sort of fight the Orks are putting up as we go into Ork turn 3. So turn 3 started with these tank busters rallying, but their snapshots failed to do anything to the Predator. Meanwhile, this biker squad and this squad moved back to engage the drop pod, and that Rhino tank truck backed up as well, quite clearly. Sam had, what's it called, the one where you have to stay in your objective zone, hold the line, you have to stay in your deployment zone and kill stuff. He then charged the drop pod, that's wrecked, so that's out of the way. Meanwhile, these bikes charged into this building and killed the one Devastator Marine that was there, and the knobs charged into Vulcan's tank, killed one of the occupants in the explosion, and obviously the tank's gone, but he's got Vulcan staring right down his face now, so that's going to be fun. Also wounded one of the mega knobs in the explosion, so there's only actually 3 wounds worth of knobs protecting his warlord. So that is about that. Objectives-wise, he had Supremacy, which he scored with 2 objectives claimed to my 1, and also Hold the Line. He rolled 3 for Supremacy as well, so good clutch of points there for the Orks. Space Marine turn 4 coming right up. Before I show you what went down this turn, I was holding these 2 objectives in addition to a second copy of this thing. Yeah, let's see how this all went down. Tactical Squad moved up into that building and did a grand total of nothing to the bikes, despite the presence of the flamers. I had even called Tactical Doctrine this turn to try and make the most of it. But no damage to the bikes there, but then the Predator opened up and killed 3 out of 4 of them. I think that guy's still needs to take a leadership test, actually.
Yeah.
Even better, he's a running, so that's that bike dealt with. So he's off on fire. Then this Predator shot at these tank busters here, killed all bar 2 of them, but they passed the leadership, so they're still potentially a threat. Then, over here, yeah, it's on there. So Vulcan and his squad, Tactical Doctrine active this turn, 3 flamer weapons in there, and Salamanders that really should have done some mess. But unfortunately, all that got 1 wound on an already wounded Meganob and finished him off. Second casualty there was from the Devastators, who fired a volley of frag missiles that killed a single dude. So really low damage numbers this turn and low scoring. In fact, didn't score a single thing. So with these 2 objectives being held, discarded the second secure objective 6, and we head on to Ork turn 4. So most of the action was centred on the other side of the board there, but quick note that the tank busters shot the Predator and did absolutely naff all, and these bikes rallied while this guy continued to run off the board. So the main action, boys and the Meganobs that are over there fired at Vulcan's unit and killed 1 Marine, and then both squads charged in. The boys took the brunt of the fire through charging first, but they failed their charge. Meganobs got in and wiped out everyone bar Vulcan, who is now running off there. But as a Space Marine, he will rally next turn. Unfortunately for Sam, he didn't have enough on the table to score the objectives he had, and he's discarded 1 copy of Secure Objective 1. So yeah, things are still pretty close and low scoring as we head into the 5th turn. Turn 5, in a last-ditch attempt to kill the war boss, the Space Marines called Devastator Doctrine. This Predator rumbled forward. I'll explain my plan for that later, but there is a method to my madness of driving the tank forward flat out. These guys ran up into the building to secure me Objective 1, and the Devastators and Vulcan both fired on the Meganobs, and the grand total of nothing. They're really resilient. That was literally all I had. Secured Objective 1, discarded Secure Objective 5, and yeah, now we head into the Ork 5th turn. Bad turn there for the Space Marines, bad turn indeed. These 2 tank busters that I'd failed to kill off last turn ran forward and wrecked the Predator with their missile launchers, scoring Sam overwhelming firepower, which I'm not happy about. This truck and these boys shot at these boys up here, these Marines up here, killed 1, but passed some leadership. And then what really bugged me, all of this shot at Vulcan and didn't do any damage with shooting, passed all his saves. Then those boys, they all charged, killed 2 boys in the Overwatch. Boys and bikes failed their charge. Meganobs come charging in, and Vulcan can't hurt them. It's just they do not fail their saves. Quite why a mastercrafted relic blade has an AP of 3 with 2, I do not know. But yeah, Vulcan couldn't hurt them, and then they smooshed him with their power claws, because somehow he's not Eternal Warrior, so I'm not happy there. And he was holding Kingslayer, which he got an extra point for, and he's discarded Secure Objective 3. So game's about to end, potentially. Let's see if we play a 6th turn. Yes, we do. Turn 6 coming up. So with so little forces left on the table, it was a very quick turn. Tactical squad in here moved down a level and then shot Meganobs, who passed all their saves. Predator shot the Meganobs, passed all their saves. Devastators shot the Meganobs. What's that? They passed all their saves? Whoop-de-doo. So absolutely 0 damage this turn. Did manage to secure objective 4 for 1 point. And I've discarded behind enemy lines because, yeah, like I'm going to get down that end. So as we move into Orc turn 6, I feel a little bit screwed right now. Again, very quick Orc turn. This truck turbo boosted down here, secured objective 3, which is one of his objectives, so meh. The bike fled off the table, and these two squads moved down here, threatening the Devastators. Meganobs couldn't do anything and were out of range to charge, but the bikes fired, only killed the Sergeant, and I was like, oh well, it's only a Devastator Sergeant, don't need to look out sir for him. Except Sam was holding Assassinate, so yay, 2 points for Sam that turn. Let's see if the game's about to end. No, one more turn. Here we go. Space Marine turn 7. So, my last ditch hope for victory. I drew Big Game Hunter and Secure Objective 4. I was also holding Secure Objective 6 with very little help of getting there. So, these Tactical Marines came down and shot this truck to try and get Big Game Hunter. Didn't do any damage. So the Predator swiveled its cannon and heavy bolt around, shot it, didn't do any damage. So it came down to the Devastators, who did wreck it, but at the cost of them being able to fire at anything else this turn. Also had Secure Objective 4, so I've got 2 objectives that turn, but things are looking pretty bleak for the Space Marines here. We've got Orks bearing down on us, and they've got one more turn for the Orks. So, Ork final turn. The bike's turbo boosted over here to sit on Objective 3 for some reason. Boys ran up into that building to get up to Objective 5, and Meganobs charged the remaining tactical squad in there and killed them off in combat and secured Objective 1. All 3 of those objectives Sam was holding. That was it for the game. There's no line breaker and his warlord's still alive, but we haven't counted up points yet, so we'll be back in a second with the final scores. So, after a bitter and close-fought battle with massive casualties on both sides, final scores: Space Marines 10, Orks 14. So once again, the Orks of the Deathskull clan under Warboss Cogzag de Fixit, sorry, Big Mech Cogzag de Fixit, have beaten the Salamanders. Yeah, really close game in the early stages there. Space Marines looked to have the upper hand, but in the end, they just couldn't do anything about these Meganobs. I really know that I need to rejig my list, and I've got changes on the way. I know the Predators aren't optimal, and the Knight's really there as filler. We've got a new list coming soon, so keep an eye out for that. Sam, how do you reckon your boys did?
The honestly's work, I'm not comfortable with it. It's just a bit squishy. Not enough weight to it.
Yeah.
The bikes do really well, but I'm not a massive fan of bikes. The Gorkanaut, though, I've done a really nice model on it. Yeah, it's probably going to get dropped because it just doesn't put its weight.
Yeah.
But I don't know what I'm going to do with that 240 points. So,
We shall see. I know you've got a tournament, doubles coming up with these soon.
it's only
haven't you?
1,000 points each, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, well, that sounds cool. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in a minute for my little bit of post-game analysis. So after a really solid start for the Salamanders, it all started to go down from the bottom of turn 2 onwards, and yeah, the Orks managed to pull back a well-deserved victory. Say, the opening few turns, I really thought I was in for an easy ride, with the battle wagon taken down straight off the bat and the big gun battery dead by turn 2. I thought, you know, great, we're dealing with the big threats here and we can move on and play our own game here. But unfortunately, it didn't quite go down like that, did it? I think my big mistake was putting too much faith in the Knight, both in terms of his ability to survive and his damage output in melee. Charging him into the Orks there, I thought he'd have broken them in one round of combat, run them down, and well, was your uncle. But no, they put up a really good fight there, and the Knight just didn't do as much damage as I'd have hoped. So yeah, then he got hit from the flank by the Gorkanaut, took the Gorkanaut down, but he died, and that left the Meganobs free to rampage through my lines. And really, by the time my Knight was gone, my land speeders getting hit unexpectedly by the truck boys, I was out of the sort of weaponry I needed to deal with mega armor. So Yeah, in hindsight, I'd have probably, instead of charging my knight forward, I'd have hung back a bit, used the fact that we were on the long table and I had my, his manoeuvrability with his mega knobs was gone, could have outmanoeuvred them, kept taking shots at them at range with the land speeders, and then struck home once they were weakened, rather than basically giving up my knight in an attempt to take them down. But hey, it is what it is, and it was a good fun game anyway. I don't think the Predators were really worth it. I mean, that's a 365 point formation that was really, putting out a lot of shots that weren't doing a great deal of damage. I think in future I'm going to look at changing up my auxiliary for my Gladius from an armored force to more of a first company strike force. So I've got some Stern Guard in the pipeline to make a third squad, and I think 3 squads of Stern Guard coming out of drop pods will be a nice little strike force to add to that. But yeah, that's for another day. For now, once again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and well done to Sam. You had a tough start there and managed to fight your way back to a victory, so nice one. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.